Evening all. Sir, good morning to you.
Morning.
On behalf of DPS Varanasi and DPS Nashik, I deem it a great honor to introduce our guest for today, Mike Knowles, Professor Emeritus, Rishihood University, for a future workshop. Delhi Public School brings you to a lively session by Mike Knowles, who is a professor, started his professional career in training to teach 3D design at Southfields College, London. After entering into industry, he worked with many leading London designers before setting up his first studio. Mike Knowles and Associates in London and in mid-80s. A Ruskinite, he is a passionate believer in the societal value of design and craft skills. Mike moved to India to develop job creation and export projects and help establish the In Group. In 2003, he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts and up until recently, he did the Indian Fellowship. He was conferred visiting professor at University of Arts, London, and helped them establish a skills academy at Delhi. His recent role of Emeritus Professor School of Creativity, Rishihood University, sets forth exciting opportunities to change the face of design education in India at the tertiary level. Sir, we are happy to have you here. The stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much indeed, Bushra. That's super. And it's an absolute pleasure to be with you. Lovely to meet you all. I wish I could see your faces. I don't know if we can do that, but it would be nice. No, we can't. There's too many of you, but that's absolutely wonderful. Yes, it's good morning from me because I'm in London, and it's good afternoon to you. And that in itself kind of gives a little bit of a flavor of what we're going to be talking about. The future. What's going to happen in the future? And we've had a pretty interesting year. 2020 has been an interesting year. It's made a few things look sometimes a little bit negative, but we never look that way. Every negative has a positive. But it's so important for you guys to know what the future is. It genuinely is. Sometimes, as things are at the moment, we get a feeling that we're walking into a room with no lights on, a dark room. You know how that feels? You go into a room, it's black, you're nervous. Will you kick something and damage your foot? Will you break something? Is there something nasty going to jump out and get you? No. But then suddenly a little bit of light comes into that room. And when that little bit of light comes, then that you feel comfortable. And that's why it's very important for us today to talk about your futures. Dramatic things are happening. Dramatic things are happening. COVID or no COVID, we have moved so far in the last few years to change the complete face of our future. Look at today, for instance. Here I am, I'm sitting in London. To give you some kind of perspective of where I am, I suppose there might be one or two cricket fans amongst you. Am I right? I would like to think so. Well, I live just a few minutes from the Lord's cricket ground, which is one of the most important cricket grounds in the world. So there I am, almost central London. And there I am talking to you, which is wonderful, as if we were in the same studio, as if we were in the same classroom. And I hasten to add, almost as effectively or as effectively. And you know, over the last 10 days, I've been to Goa, I've been to Sikkim, I've been to Mumbai, I've been to Kolkata, Delhi, Sonipat, Ghaziabad, in the UK, Oxford and Cambridge, Durham. I've been to Scotland, I've been to Ireland, and I've done all of those sitting in this seat. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about changes? And all the meetings that I have had have not been any less because I'm sitting in London talking to people hundreds and thousands of miles away. Let me also add to this as well, that what's happening in the UK at the moment. Like everybody, COVID is going up and going down and whatever, but starting on Tuesday, starting yesterday, we started to, the vaccination was out and over 40,000 people were vaccinated against COVID. And today, another 40,000 people will be vaccinated against COVID. And this is at a time that if you think of illnesses, diseases, the vaccines for, or the solutions to things like polio, diphtheria, all sorts, tetanus, these were vaccines that took years to develop. But the COVID vaccine has taken 8 months, 10 months to develop. That should tell you something about what your future is, about what really is happening. So let's have a look. I'm sure you would like to know what the future brings. I'm sure you would like to know how to prepare yourself for the world post-COVID. May we go on to the presentation, please, to the PPT. Lovely. So the future workshop, let's just hold it on that one thing there. Where is, well, can we go back to the, sorry, can we go back? So just go to the next slide, please, Pankaj. That's lovely, let's hold it there. Where is the world heading? What is happening? What will it look like when you eventually graduate from college? What will be the things that are needed in the world so that you, what will the jobs be so that you can get a good job? How are you preparing now for young people who are making very serious decisions about your future? Are you preparing properly? Are you doing the right things? So where is the world heading? Next slide, please, Pankaj. There you go. Are we going to be colonized by tech? Now, as an Englishman, most of the time I live in Delhi. I'm just here at the moment because the majority of my family are in London. But I live in Delhi. I love India. My wife is from Delhi. My younger children grew up in India. I absolutely adore India. I can't wait to get back, hopefully in probably February. And as an Englishman living in India, that word colonized is not a nice word. It's a nasty word. I always find myself on Republic Day or Independence Day hiding somewhere because of the legacy of colonialism. It's not a nice word. So will you, because of the vast onslaught of AI and robotics, will you be colonized by technology? Will you become the puppets of the machine? Next one, please. So here are some predictions. Predictions are useful, very useful. Let's go on to the next one, please, Pankaj. Humans and machines. I was reading an article the other day and it said, it just made the point, it said that will this happen with machines? That machines taking a bigger role in society. And then it just said, well, actually, it's already happened. It's already happened. Think about it, guys. Think about what you've been doing in terms of studying. Think of the way that you've been studying. Think about all sorts of things at the moment, the way you communicate. We are very much, humans and machines are very much bonded at the moment. Will every machine become intelligent? It's a very interesting question. Can machines become more intelligent than humans? And this is where it's terribly important. It's terribly important for you to understand. Let's go back to the horrible word colonization. Will you be a puppet of the machine? Or will you or the machine be a puppet of you? And perhaps there are things, though, that humans do in some ways which are much better than machines. We'll talk about that in a second. Automation. Will robots service in restaurants? Well, they already do. And that, wonderful, absolutely nice and simple, very quick, quaint, very clean, and very efficient. But that's already happening. Will they operate the factories? I read an article just a few weeks back in the Times that said that by the year 2025, over 50% of factories and manufacturing operations in the UK will be automated. They won't need humans. Well, very few humans. And if that's the case, what will happen to those humans that don't have jobs that have been taken, those jobs that have been taken by robots? And ladies and gentlemen, think of you when we say that. Are you going to spend years studying only to find that if you went for a job interview, you go for the interview and a robot goes for the interview, the robot gets the job because you can't do it? And that comes down to that big question about what can the machines, what can the robots, what can AI, and AI, artificial intelligence, I like to say augmented intelligence, what can they not do? Next slide, please. Okay, can we just put on the animation or the film clip, please? Pankaj.
You can clap now. No, please, 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 please. You can thank me outside, in the sun, when you wish us out.
So, how does it work?
You're kidding, right? The whole song was the instructions. Obviously, you can't dance and listen at the same time. So here's the basics. Step 1, rub the lamp. Step 2, say what you want. Step 3, there is no step 3. See, it's that easy. You get 3 wishes. They must begin with rubbing the lamp and saying, I wish. Got it?
Think so?
A couple other rules. You can't wish for more wishes. 3 is enough. Now, I can't make anybody love anybody or bring anybody back from the dead. Oh, feel free to interrupt me anytime you don't understand. I'm kidding. Don't ever interrupt me, no matter what. Now, I usually don't have to go through all of this because by the time the guy gets to me, he pretty much knows what he wants, and it generally has to do with tons of money and power. Do me a favor, do not drink from that cup. I promise you there's not enough money and power on Earth for you to be satisfied. Good? So, what's your first wish?
Well, I have to think about it. I mean, if there are only 3, why are there only 3 anyway?
I don't know, who cares?
You don't know. I thought you were all-knowing.
That's because you don't listen. I never said I was all-knowing. I said I was all-powerful, the most powerful being in the universe. Look, whatever I don't know, I know I can learn it outside in the sun. Why are you playing hard to wish?
Excellent. Now, when I think about AI, when I think about advanced computers and technology, I've always thought of the genie that was in Aladdin's lamp. Did you notice one thing that happened there?
Totally normal.
Hello, it's come back.
Totally normal.
My dad.
Still blue.
The one thing that comes from that, the genie is phenomenally powerful. The genie can spin around the world 10 times in a nanosecond, can lift buildings, can fly, can do incredible things. Because what the genie has is power, tremendously powerful. That's what AI is. That's what a well-fed computer is, and a well-programmed robot is. Powerful. They can do things much quicker, much faster, more accurately than we can. But when Aladdin said to the genie, look, this is so complicated, I don't quite know what to do. Tell me what to do. You know everything. What did the genie say? Are you serious? I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I'm powerful. I can do things. But he said, if I want to know stuff, I'll go to somebody else to get it. I'll get the information and get the knowledge from someone else. And that is the secret to your future. Robots, the genie, artificial intelligence, we can pump them full of information, and they can digest that information and they can spin it out and assimilate it far quicker than we ever could. But ask them for something new. Ask them for new ideas, and they draw a blank. Because the new ideas, ladies and gentlemen, will come from you. You are the people that will feed AI with the information it needs. It will not find stuff on its own. And that is part of the secret of your future success. Let's have a quick look at could we go on to the next one, please, Pankaj?
The jobs of the future will be those jobs that cannot be done by artificial intelligence and robots. And there are huge gaps in what a robot can do. Robots have very bad eyesight. They see lines, circles, squares, but they don't understand that these lines, circles, squares make up a face, or a chair, or a cup. Pattern recognition is one of the big problems. Second, common sense. They don't understand the simplest things about human behavior, about the world. They don't know that water is wet. They don't know that strings can pull, but strings cannot push. So the two jobs that will thrive in the future and the two sets of jobs that will be destroyed are as follows. Among blue-collar jobs, repetitive jobs are going to be wiped out, obliterated. This means jobs in the automobile industry, textile industry that are purely repetitive are in danger. Non-repetitive jobs in blue-collar work will thrive. Garbage men, sanitation people, gardeners, police, construction workers, every job is different. They will survive. In white-collar work, it defies common sense. The people who will be thrown out of work are middlemen, low-level accountants, bookkeepers, agents, tellers, middlemen. The friction of capitalism are going to be obliterated. So who will benefit among white-collar workers? Workers who engage in intellectual capitalism. What is intellectual capitalism? It involves common sense. In other words, creativity, imagination, leadership, analysis, telling a joke, writing a script, writing a book, doing science. Realize that England, said Tony Blair, derives more revenue from rock music, than it does the coal industry. Because we're making the transition from commodity-based capital like coal to intellectual capital like rock and roll.
Excellent. Thank you very much. The one thing that comes out from me more than anything is that the people who will control the robots, have the best jobs, have the best opportunities in the future are people who are creative. Your creativity is absolutely everything to your future. So you need to be creative. But now there's a caveat to that. There's a little bit of a negative. A survey that was done by NASA, the American Space Agency, some years back, and that's carried on by an eminent professor, Dr. George Land. George Land was commissioned by NASA to do a study on creativity. Why? Well, think about it. Creativity is the rocket fuel of NASA. Yeah, scientists, engineers, mathematicians, astrologists, all sorts of people are very, very important to NASA. But the first thing that NASA needs is ideas, new ideas. And then when the idea comes and the vision comes and the dream comes, then these other people can come in and make sure that it happens. What the survey showed, and they did this over a number of years, they looked at creativity and they started with a group of 1,500 people. Those people happened to be 5-year-old school children. And they gave them tests and they gave them little ways of doing things, etc., to see how creative they were. New ideas, new ways, wanting to find more, etc. And then they found that when youngsters at the age of 5, that their creativity levels were 98%. 98%. When we were 5 years of age, our creativity level was 98%. You know what it's like? You know, if you've got siblings or whatever, you know, mummy, what's this? Why is this? Why does this taste like this? I like that color. I don't like that color. Why does that color work so well for me? Why is daddy speaking one language? Mum is speaking another language. Why? Taste. When we are 5 years of age, our creativity, our want of knowledge, and asking why about that knowledge, 98%. Then you come into a system. And this is a system that was developed in the Industrial Revolution 150, 200 years ago, not in India, all over the world. And you come into an education system which does, at the moment, reduce our creativity. So at the age of 12, NASA found that the average creativity of a 12-year-old person is 30%. Bad. There are some people like the eminent educationist, Sir Ken Robinson, who sadly passed away this year, you refer to that happening as child abuse. It's not India. It's not this country, it's the way that the education systems have gone. And then by the time you get to your age, to the age of being 16, 18, your creative levels have come down to about 12%. Bad news. The average adult, 2%. Okay, so now we've got away with that over the last millennia, the last whatever. We've managed on it. We've managed on that 2%. But now we have the whole thing happening with AI. Then you will not survive unless you are a complete and utter new ideas person. Now, I'm very biased, and I would always say that, you know, go into the creative industries, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, because they have a massive future. And I mean, really do have a massive future worldwide, and a massive future in the development of India. But it also means your creativity as a creative doctor, or a creative lawyer, or a creative accountant. Whatever you decide to do, make sure that you are the new ideas person. You are the person that says, oh, a pen writes that way. I'm going to find a way of writing a pen that way. Think about this thing with the COVID vaccine. Hundreds of minds coming together to use all that they've learned and to develop more and to ask more questions to actually create that thing. So your creativity is the absolute crux of your success. I'll give you a little example from my world. I'm an interior architect as well as an educationist. If I'm asked to design a house or a project or whatever, so somebody comes to me and says, okay, Mike, I've got this idea for my new home. This is what I want. And they sit down and they sit with me and we discuss what kind of home that they want. big home, small home, apartment, a house on its own in a garden. Do we want, how many bedrooms do we want? How many, do we want a swimming pool? Do we want a library, or do we want a home entertainment section, or whatever? Is it traditional? Is it modern? And as they're talking to me about their desires for a home, I'm using my creativity, my developed or my God-given or my evolved creativity, doesn't matter what you want to call it. I am using my creativity to understand what they want, to understand what I need to design. When I know what to design, then now, as opposed to what I would have done 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have gone to my drawing board and, well, even 10 years ago, sketched it out, done this and done that. I still do a little bit of that. But when I know what I want to do, I know the design, then I take it to my computer, to my robot. And I say, here, this is the idea for the plans, draw the plans for me. So the robot, CAD or whatever, plans. Then we feed in a program and say, right, these are the ceiling heights, these are the things, this is the cross section of the building. Do the cross sections for me. And while you're doing that, create the 3D model. And then when the computer has created the 3D model, you say to the computer, because you're the creative one, you say, well, the floor is this finish, the walls are this finish, the colors are this, the tiles are this. And so your creativity is telling the computer, yeah, the AI, what's needed. And then it'll put it all in. And the way that technology has gone, by the time we've got to that stage, not only has the computer costed the building, it's worked out how much it's going to cost to build this thing. But it's also done a beautiful 3D rendering. It's done an animation, a virtual reality, understanding what the building's like. And you know what virtual reality is like now? It's more like reality. And so the robot has done absolutely everything. And then when I was doing a talk on this recently, and I received a project to do it in Sikkim. And so I wanted to know, when do I build it? What, because of the weather, what's the right time? What's the soil? And so the robot does all that for me. Tells me everything. Who do I get to build it? Where do I buy stuff? The robot has all that information plugged into it. I don't need to do it. I don't need to pick up my phone. So that's what's actually happening. My creativity leads a project. The work that would have been done by tens of or many other people in my office, drawings, etc., will be done by the robot. But if I go to my robot friend and I say, well, that's great, thank you for doing all this. I've got another project. Here, I'll give you design it for me. No, the robot will not design it, because the robot doesn't know anything about it. It doesn't know that what's needed in those terms. So let me underline this again. You being an ideas person, that's how you will succeed. Can we go on to the next slide, please, Pankaj? So creativity is the future. It doesn't matter what you do. Next one, please. And that's why, and I'm going to ask my dear colleague, Professor Manika Walia, to talk to you after this presentation, to talk about why we at Rishihood, one of the first schools that we started, was the School of Creativity. Not a school of design, not a school of dance, not a school of architecture, or a school of graphics or fashion design. Yeah, they're all there, but they're all part of your creativity. Could we go on to the final couple of slides, please? So there's just a couple of examples where people, can we just go back again? Okay, so where people like Airbnb have that people have come up with ideas and produced the most amazing projects. Airbnb this week sold on the stock exchange for phenomenal amounts of money. Phenomenal amounts of money. And then, so ideas create good businesses, good everything. And then ultimately, final slide, please, Saket. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Pankaj, I beg your pardon. Can we go back to it again, please? That last slide. Okay. Wouldn't that be nice? That's London, but it's been played with. It's been done, various things done to it. All those plants have been added. But the world that you will grow up in, your cities that you will grow up in, and we know we need these desperately in India. Cities where there's clean water, clean air, good communication systems, good transport, good education, sustainable industries, no hunger, worthwhile employment, social harmony, good governance and security. And final slide, please. And that's it. Let us create an ideal world together by our mutual creativity. Thank you very much indeed. Let me pass back to Bushra.
Thank you, sir, for the lovely presentation. Requesting Manika ma'am to acquaint our students with the distinctiveness of your university. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Bushra ma'am. Thank you so much, Mike, for a wonderful talk as always. My heartiest gratitude to Dr. Dutt and DPS Varanasi School. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity to talk to your brilliant students and to expose them to the world of creativity and how creativity has been recognized by one of the most crucial future skill set. So thank you, Dr. Bushra. I'll not take much of a time and let students absorb and sink into these new and unique ideas and what Mike has shared with this lovely talk and a lovely short film of a genie. So at School of Creativity, this is a very, very new school. It is in Delhi NCR region in Sonipat, where Rajiv Gandhi Educational Hub is coming up. We have a new IIT research technology very close to our university. Ashoka University is just a stone throw from where we are. And Rishihood University is a new concept in higher education. It's not based on the traditional, conventional philosophy. So School of Creativity, the whole objective is to make students creatively confident. So that's a new word which we are working on. We want students to be creatively confident. And we offer programs at undergraduate level. As Mike said, it's not primarily per se design education. We have programs for product design, communication design, game design, transport design, interior architecture, and your fashion and textiles, along with visual arts. So by visual arts, as you all know, it's different than fine arts. So it's related to your sculpture, your ceramics, your printmaking. So everything is under one umbrella with drama, theater, ballets, dance, and music. Uh, Sharing a thought with all the young students here is that a lot of things I'm sure you all are aware, and DPS is well known that they acclimatize you with all the innovations which are happening around and the new innovations which are happening. All students must have seen this Tesla Cybertruck, right? How it came into existence, what was the theory behind, what was the process behind, how the concept of a Cybertruck was thought of. Similarly, there was this new innovation because everybody is with smartphones these days. So how Levi's, we all wear denim jeans. So how Levi's, a company which works with denims, has come out with this innovation where you charge your phone rather than carrying your power bank or your chargers every time. And Apple, unfortunately, has a very short battery, right? So you put your smartphone into your pocket of your jeans and the phone gets charged when it is kept in the pocket of your jeans. So these are the things, which we want our young budding designers and creative people to think. So it's not only about how you draw or how you create or you are doing a product development, but how together in collaboration with engineering, with science, with technology, you come out with a creative solution. So that's the whole philosophy at School of Creativity. Uh, Again, product design, that's picking up very fast. Game design, everything, we've seen it in the COVID times throughout the last time, how game design, with your PUBG was banned, so Call of Duty came into existence. I mean, it was there, but how children of your age just quickly switched over from PUBG to COD. And then this Among Us. So Among Us is something, again, which is based on a space theme. So all these things, we are helping our students who have an inclination for game design and transport design, for that matter, even product design. We are helping them to come out with unique ideas, with unique novel thoughts, what they have, and put them into a practical, a real life kind of an approach, so that they are successful at a very, very young age. So not taking further, yeah, that was a very small brief about School of Creativity. In case you have any further questions, please feel free to write to us. We'll be more than happy to answer all your queries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manika ma'am. I
Thank
hope
you
our
so much.
students have taken it. Thank you so much, Mike sir. Definitely our students have gained insight into this topic which was never covered, and they'll definitely be looking as a career option ahead, and we'll reach out to you. Do extend your hand to us, ma'am. Over to ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for the wonderful sharing you had with my students and also the Varanasi students. And I'm sure they have a lot of takeaways. So, and thank you, Manika, for sharing
Thank you
about
so
the
much.
university. These young learners, they really need to explore all the possibilities. And I'm happy that you were able to share a lot about the Rishi Wood University. So thank you for organizing this for us. And I'm sure my students have had a lot to take on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Dutton. May I also say, it has been a pleasure working with your team. So organized, so communicative, absolutely amazing. I noticed they're all very creative anyway, so why should I feel bother? But no, but seriously, absolutely first class. It's been a pleasure handling this from quite sunny London this morning, which is quite fun. All the very best to all of you, and season's greetings.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bushra.
Bye.